Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.
Torquay had a bank holiday to remember. We beat Dorking 1-0 and then a late win at Chesham. We're second in the league after 5 games in the start that we would all surely have taken at the start of the season. Today I'm joined by Tom, Dom and Clive, and we will be discussing the bank holiday to remember. I was also looking forward to the next 2 games at Playmore. 6 points. Where should we start? We started with the Dorking victory. I was, as some people know, had the honour of being in BBC Radio Devon commentary for that, which was an experience I absolutely loved. Thank you for everyone who helped make that happen.
Well done,
great,
Sam.
cheers. A great view in the Bristow's bench and that commentary box. Honestly, I loved it. But what a day that was. A weird game. Where should we start? Dom, what are your thoughts about the Dorking game?
To be honest, I spent most of it looking at you behind us in the commentary box, Sam, really. You brushing your hair half the time, The game, let's start with, we couldn't get hold of the ball, could we? So we were chasing it around for the first 20, 30 minutes, but we didn't bend, did we? We kept on chasing and kept on working. They were very confident. I was very impressed by the way they stroked the ball around nicely, left to right. They were clearly trying to get behind the wing backs and get the ball over to the wings and make things happen. But they created very little, and we sort of gathered in confidence as the half went on, didn't we? Because of that, they had a few fluffed chances they might have done better with. They shanked a few shots, didn't they? And we thought, okay, and Paul Watton was cajoling them on to give a little bit more, and because I think he was getting a bit worried from the dugout that things were going to unravel at a certain point. But we rolled our sleeves up and we didn't bend, as we say. Unlike last season, we didn't concede the goal, and we built from there, didn't we?
Yeah, I agree. Clive, what were your thoughts on that? Because it was a chess match at the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and I
good.
did feel like Torquay gave them a bit too much respect at the start, but eventually we found our way in, didn't we?
We did. What impressed me was that we did keep in our shape. There wasn't any panic at all. When balls needed headed, they got headed. As the first half went on, we did get little bits and pieces more of the ball, and we were a little bit more direct. Obviously, we could have gone ahead before half time with the header that was cleared off the line. Palmer again, and we grew into the game. I do agree over the whole piece. I agree with Mark White. I think they deserve between 1 and 3 points out of it. They missed an absolute sitter, didn't they, in the last minute? Like 6 yards out, he could have hit it anywhere, and luckily he chose sort of row C. So an absolutely fantastic afternoon. The scenes, as they say, when Hassani's goal went in, magnificent. Just really, really good.
Nice for us to play the tactical game, wasn't it? Because last season we weren't good at that.
The shape was amazing.
We changed things up as the game went on and just grew in confidence. But I like to see the centre-back started stepping forward a bit and using the space, and suddenly we started pushing up a bit, and then that translated into the second half, us just improving. What did you think, Tom? Sorry to jump in there.
It's all right. Well, Mark White said it on our podcast a couple of weeks ago. Goals win leagues and goals win games, and what a goal it was to win. Hassani with a magnificent strike. Absolutely, it was bound for the net as soon as it left his foot. I think we all knew it was going to be a tough game. Dorking, really controlled the ball well for the first half hour. Had the odd moment, but they didn't really create anything for Hammond in goal to make a save. And we grew into it in the last 10, 15 minutes. I mean, Palmer had a wonderful effort that, just a little bit further back, he would have dipped that into the net. I think Hassani had one that he headed just wide. So, I mean, there were chances there. I think a point would have been a fair result in the end. But once we got the goal, for that 10, 15 minutes after that, we were well on top. And Dorking just seemed to lose all shape. And they just didn't know how to kind of react. And we should have buried the game. Then the injury, the stoppage in play, that kind of killed our momentum a little bit and allowed Dorking a chance to get back. And I think we were all kind of fearing at that point that they were going to get something. And then, the header right at the end. I mean, how has he missed? it looks worse in the pop. I managed to get a video of it, and just looks worse every time I watch it. He's got to head it on target. He's got to head it on target. But yeah, I think it's a great win, and I think it's a real statement this early in the season to give Dorking. I think it's their first loss of the season. So I mean, just great for us. Great day again. Nice big crowd at Playmore, and yeah, the Yellow Army certainly played their part, roaring them on to victory. So no, fantastic effort and a very big 3 points.
Good time to play them as well, wasn't it? They were almost bare bones, really, weren't they? Reese, what's his name? Healy was unfit.
Murphy.
Yeah.
13 proper players according to the manager. So, whereas we're chopping and changing, and if you end up with 5 players on the pitch that didn't start, you're going to be fresher. You're going to have the legs. So
the second half, it did tell a bit because we started putting pressure on them. They started giving the ball away a little bit, didn't we? We started to win that possession earlier than we were in the first half, where we were sit back and waiting for them to come on to us. I think the breeze helped as well. There was quite a breeze going that day as well. That was pushing us forward a bit second half, I think. So that helped a little bit. But it was a hell of a goal.
Yeah. I did say to a few members in the pop side, I was like, I can't see Dorking, playing like that for the full 90 minutes. Right. And I think that's been the story of their season to some regard as well, is they'll have a good opening 45, but then they struggle to really convert and make their dominance count. So it'll be interesting to see how they go moving forward from there. I mean, I still envisage they'll be fighting for at least a home playoff at the top as well. So, but what a great weekend for us. And, it's just nice to get one over on Mark White for a change. Looking forward to seeing the Bunch of Amateurs episode when that comes out. And it was lovely to speak to Rich, which was good.
A few things I picked up from that game. As you said, Dorking had all the ball. When they got into the territory, they're so wasteful. But then there's a couple of chances though where they just had half-hearted attempts and it just didn't make contact on things. I know Rutherford wasn't playing, but they still had enough talent to cause problems. They're really wasteful at times. Dorking
Nobody put their foot through the ball for them.
No, and I think that was their disappointment. I mean, from a Torquay perspective, I thought, as you say, both teams, especially Torquay, giving a little bit too much respect at the start. I mean, yeah, we had to be careful. We had our shape and we were really smart by Witten because as soon as they did get near us, we were right. I did feel we had a weakness, and I hope opposition teams aren't watching, because it was shown in the Chesham game. I do feel that people my mic almost fell in. I do feel that people are finding it easy at times to get around our wing back and put crosses in. I do feel that needs to be really worked on because there was a few chances and they come in. It was just too easy for them.
It's risk and reward this, Sam, isn't it? Because if you want to play wing backs, you got to push them forward, so you will leave a bit of space. So it's
but I just think maybe that the wider centre backs need to come in a little bit more, or something needs to happen a little bit there. It was a little bit too easy, and I think it wasn't so much yes, you're going to stop crosses, but it was more how we were dealing with it in the middle, like the centre backs would get a bit flat-footed and there'll be a chance. And in the National League South level, we might get away with that. But if we're playing better teams and more strikers are more clinical on their day, we're going to be in a bit of trouble with that. So there was still plenty to be worked on. I mean, but there's so many positives. I mean, I really liked how in the 3-5-2 we started, especially in the second half, 2 things changed for me. I said on commentary at halftime, I said I want to see more from the central midfielders. They work hard, we know that, but I want to see them giving more output. And in the second half, Hayfield really was a star for me because they were getting into the central midfielders, the right Hassani and Hayfield were getting more into the wide positions to help that sort of attack down there, sort of triangle up with Krask and Carson, obviously, still on the pitch. And that really helped. I felt Hayfield was more aggressive going forward, and he's got talent. He's got a lot of talent, as he's shown. Whereas we'll talk about on his win at A-Boys goal against Chesham. But so I was really happy with that. And then Krask was really good as well. But Palmer, for me, he had a great game at Bath. Yeah, and I thought, apart from maybe Hassani, I agree with the goal, Palmer was man of the match again against Dorking because the way he was bringing the ball forward and making those runs, and that's when having 3-5-2 works because your centre-backs can add to it. And that strike he had in the first half as well, I thought, really solid. He will be the first person maybe to say he didn't quite have the best game at Chesham, but it's going to happen. That is tough for any footballer. I think a lot of our squads, as Paul was saying in the interview, and it's probably the first time they've done a Saturday, Monday. It's a lot to attempt sport at that level, as we move to in a minute. But I thought it was really, really impressive, and I was really happy. I mean, another day, of course, we might lose that game. That's football. At the end of the day, we can leave it going, "Oh, Dorking, maybe they deserve something, a win or a draw," but we won, and that is the difference between teams that do well and don't. So I thought they really worked hard. I thought Paul Watson got his subs brilliant. I was a bit worried how deep we were dropping, but at the same time, we still looked like we could do something. I thought Musa gave us something when he came up front, and I think my only other criticism at that time was when we are in the first half, we really struggled to break down Dorking because we needed to play the balls at Ashes and Seymour's feet more so they could spin on the turn a bit more. And we didn't. We ended up just doing the odd through long balls, and their centre back was always going to win that. So plenty to be worked on in terms of creating chances. But look, we're moving to Chesham in a minute, but all this stuff to work on, and we've won 4 out of 5, and we were unlucky in the one we lost. It's absolutely brilliant. And just as you said, Clive, the feeling is amazing around playing more. Every win feels so special, doesn't it, Dom? What do you feel like? It feels more special.
I saw you outside before, Clive. We're just everybody's smiling, happy, and it's a good vibrations. You can just feel it, can't you? And saw Michael Westcott's out there just chatting to fans, and all translates into such a happy atmosphere. And yeah, we needed that after last season. I couldn't go through another season like last year, feeling so down about the football club, and it's just a complete opposite, and that's a joy, isn't it? It's joy going to your seat. It's a joy just watching the team, and everybody is energized. As I said before on the WhatsApp group, so they're motivated. They're really trying to do so well for us, and it really makes for a great occasion. So
it's a lovely thing, isn't it? Because people want to stop and chat, don't they? I did a little blog about Saturday, and it's like it took me 20 minutes to get from boots and laces to the seat because I spoke to you. I spoke to a guy I was scraping the steps with. I spoke to John Lovis. There's just it's such a good thing. The collective sort of mental health of our fan base has probably never been in a better state after being as low as it was.
You get what you put in life, don't you? And these new owners are putting in everything in terms of emotion. They're putting in their passion. They're putting all their ideas into it. Previous ownership didn't put in anything like that, did they? So these new owners are getting that out of the club because of how much they're putting in. That's brilliant, and it's translated into the community share fund as well, which is another happy thing that's happened over the weekend. All made for a great few days. Absolutely brilliant.
It's been every day you just wake up just delighted, don't you, about something about Torquay, and when you start winning on the pitch, that's even better. Most important at the end of the day, but that's just even better. Any final thoughts about the Dorking game?
I think it's just great that we've got strength in numbers this season, that we've got options off the bench. I mean, Mark White, again, he referenced the fact that he only had 2 fit players off the bench, but how often did we have 3 or 4 to come off the bench, available to come off the bench, and how many of those were fit anyway? So I think it's just kudos to Paul Watson for getting this team together and, making such a collective unit. It's great, isn't it? I mean, we're saying it's a work in progress. It was going to take time, but to get four wins from 5 and, having already played, teams like Farnborough, Dorking and Bath, and, to be joint top. I mean, early days, of course, but things can only get better, hopefully, from a perspective.
Don't say that, Tom.
Well, fingers crossed, hopefully we're in for a good season this year. But it just brings to roost, doesn't it? How, we've been calling out the failings in the past, and now it's just a much better place playing more, and just the whole club. It's, fantastic. Long may that continue.
Totally with you, Tom. Well, lovely summing up, especially by someone who's on 4 hours sleep after an emergency flight for your work. Dedication. Hang in there, boy. We're not making you stay here. You come here, remember. But well done. So, right, Chesham away. I streamed. Clive, you were there. Dom, did you stream? No, you were on beach.
I didn't know. I was
dealing with my WhatsApps.
Out with the family. Yeah, you were doing.
Tom, were you there? Or were you streaming?
No, I was working, but I was a little bit delayed, so I was able to get the notification just before I was ready to go, so I was in a better mood.
That's good.
Just me, Clive, I could tell you anything.
Yeah.
So, Chesham's a really nice little place, by the way. it's a fair old journey up from London. You've got to get on the tube, and it takes an hour. And only about half the trains actually go to Chesham because the rest go to Amersham. Anyway, enough of that. Few pints in the pub beforehand, the George and Dragon with some of the best hanging baskets this side of Ground Force. Really, really nice. We got in there. It's your standard NLS ground, terracing on all four sides, mixed, no trouble whatsoever. Couple of places to eat and drink, which is always very welcome. In terms of the game, a slow start from us, really. Didn't do well. Conceded the first goal, which I'm trying to remember. Oh, Hammond, wasn't it? Dropped a long throw in.
It's going to happen with a keeper, isn't it?
A real goober, I'm afraid. There's some youngsters in that side. They haven't been playing together very long. We've been naive, really, to think they can turn it on 90 minutes every week. I think we're going to get dips. But what's great is that they're showing resilience in it at the moment. Obviously back into the game in a big way just before half time.
Great save.
Wasn't it? Unfortunately, it was the right back. Yeah, that's right. So goalward bound shot from Finn Tonks, acrobatically cleared by the right back, and then stone cold Cody Cook steps up, slots the penalty. We've got 45 minutes to beat 10 men.
Is that a bad decision at that point? Should he just let it go in? Because you're going under 10 and you're probably giving the goal away anyway.
And you're getting banned.
Yeah, that's right. But you see it happen a lot, don't you?
Instinctive,
I think it's a spur of the moment. You haven't really got that much time to think about it. It's more of a reaction, and then it's like, we did our best to cock it up second half, though, didn't we? I mean, we ended up conceding another one.
Shocking.
Another one. Luckily, then Hayfield's traction engine of a right foot.
It felt like a shot of frustration, didn't it? It felt like because he had just given the ball away 5 seconds before, and every Torquay fan went, "What was that?"
Yeah,
and then he just went, "All right, I'm just gonna hit it from what a strike."
Absolutely drenched it, didn't he? Great strike. Never got more than a foot off the floor. Side netting, unsavable, brilliant. And then really, it was a matter from there on as to whether we could get a winner. The Moose came on, tried to dictate. Did some really good stuff. Did some quite bad stuff as well, because when he loses the ball, he ain't going to get it back. So that is a bit of an issue at the moment. And then, of course, it's all building up to 7 minutes of injury time and 95, 96 minutes. The ball's fed out to Mox on as a late substitute. Perfect cross, stupid header from your man.
Well,
we were talking, weren't we? We were talking about, do you remember Skinner and Badil years ago? On fantasy football, they used to recreate goals. There's one for you. Do that by the swimming pool on Saturday if you want. Get the ball in there, little stooping header near post. We all go mental. We go home happy. Brilliant.
Nice. Yeah, I could do that, mate.
I think one thing we've highlighted there, obviously, Ash. I've always been I've been a fan of Ash. I'm really behind him, and that showed why, really. But Dean Moxey, he comes on. That's what his first appearance of the season. And everything just felt calm when he was around. It
sounded like it needed that, because all I could hear was, "Oh God, they're confused, they're panicking." Yeah. So somebody like Dean Moxey, ideal.
And that's not a reflection on the players, because players like Folston have all been superb so far. It just, in that moment, at that time, Dean Moxey coming off the bench, it just all felt a bit more calm. He just really, with his experience, went, "Oh, come on, lads, let's just doing what he should do," and it just everything calmed down a bit. And we weren't sort of trying to panic and find the wrong ball. It's just, let's wait, and what a ball that is. And for Ash to get, a flick on like that, just instinctive. What a header. What a goal.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do with the strikers, isn't it? He keeps rotating them. I quite like Ash as a substitute, but he'll want to play from the start, I guess. But I do quite like him as a lively sub. I just don't want. I did mention the other day maybe they could play Hassani and Musa together between the striker, perhaps, or change it up. I don't know. I'm not sure what the best solutions at the moment, but we're winning games, aren't we?
Just
So
need Seagull to get off the mark. If he can start scoring goals, you can start him with Cook and then have Ash as the impact player. Because if he's not starting, he's going to have the ump and he's going to have something to prove. That would be absolutely perfect.
It's a nice problem to have, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
all very good strikers, I think.
And it should motivate him. It should motivate all of them to have that competition. Again, that's what we were lacking last season. We were so bare bones. It was pretty much just a case of this is what we've got to try your best, and it obviously wasn't enough. I mean, problem with Brad Ash for me, I really like Brad, but when he has a poor game, he really has a poor game. He just doesn't influence anything. But playing to his strengths like he did on.
We haven't really seen that this season yet, though. We haven't seen that yet this season.
He's a striker, isn't he? He's got to be up top for me. I think he spent a lot of time at Dorking, come back into midfield, and he couldn't really influence the game. He's got to be up there on the cutting edge, the end of crosses, that sort of thing. So
whatever strike partnership it is, we've got to be wise. If Cook's in a team, you play slightly different. You can be a little bit more expansive. You can put more in the air. If you're playing Seymour and Ash, we've got to be a little bit more wise to play to their strengths, or Crosby. So, yeah, again, as you say, it's a nice problem to have. I love to go into a season with those four strikers.
Who was your man of the match on Monday?
I gave it to Ash, which is controversial, obviously, as a sub, but it was a really, really important contribution. And actually, nobody else had a good night.
No. It was. I think for me, I love the fact we can come away from that going, bloody hell, we were really, really, really poor at times and fell well below standards they've set and will set. But we've won a game of football, and that is such a good sign for a team, isn't it?
Whereas last season we were really, really poor and we're losing matches. So
yeah.
I'll take it winning ugly. I'll take it all. I've said it a long time. Winning ugly, nothing better.
We still tried to play the right football. It was just the execution was poor. It wasn't like we lost our minds and we're playing rubbish football. It's just so many passes went astray. And one thing I do want us to see is be a bit more inventive when we have the ball and we are struggling. Go right to left a bit more. That's when we really started asking questions of Dorking in the first game. Go right to left a bit more. Use the centre backs. Go right left. Use the wing backs right left, and eventually you will find something. Just be a little bit more bold. I felt when we were a bit weak is when we have the ball on the left and then we're just like, right, we're going to keep it on the left now. Move it to the right and then see if you've got that space, because you might do it, or find the space. We need to be a little bit more inventive of that as a team, I think, which will come over time. That's the only thing for me. Sometimes it's quite predictable to see what we're going to do. So I just think that's where your players like Hassani's and Musa will take more, sort of be a bit more bold in that. And I'll tell you with you, Clive, Musa when he came on, he changed the game in a way. Because, he'd do for everything when he'd pass and he'd go out for a throw in, he would do something a bit magical. He felt a little bit too desperate to prove at times. I'm like, just pass, mate. Just pass a little bit more. Yeah. That's what he brings to the team. And that's
looking to show how good he is, isn't he?
We know how good he is. But, and I think at times he was just frustrated. It's like, right, you want something done, do it yourself a bit. But he was, you can't say he didn't come on and hide away from the ball at all, did he? So
he didn't on Saturday either, did he? Come and got the ball a few times. He looks a bit languid and lazy, but when he gets the ball, he did keep it well. He's getting mixed reviews every game, and it depends who you talk to. And if you like a few tricks and you love that sort of player, you love him. If you want somebody who's got the work rate and who's going to charge around the pitch, you're going to go, oh, he's a bit lazy.
I think people misread his persona of because again, like I said this before, we need to be careful with football cultures here and different country cultures where just because their body language is a little bit different and they kind of look a bit like, that is not them being lazy. That is just how they read the game. That's how they act. Just because they're a little bit more, just because they're a little bit more like this. It's just a cultural difference. We have that with Kalala at times. And unlike with times, he doesn't go missing. Musa will not go missing. He will always try and do something just because he looks a little bit more. And at times I'm like,
I know we're going to be Lee Mansell type players. Are they running around the pitch?
And if we, and that's why I think we need to be a bit careful when we go, has he got the right attitude there? No, that's just a slightly different culture that he has. He's played in different countries and he's playing in a foreign country. I know we don't think anything of it when we're in the Premier League, but it's quite different in a non-league, to come into a totally different football culture and then sort of just show your own style and adapt to it.
Is he?
And he's nowhere near fit.
Quite a big issue. I think we have to be patient with him because he is, he is contributing, despite being maybe 70% fit. I mean, I was thinking about it. At times, it's a bit like watching 40-year-old George Best in a testimonial, really, because give him the ball and it'll be difficult to get it off him, and he might well do something magical. If he loses the ball, forget about it. Collins has got to go and run and get it back because he can't do it at the moment.
But
that will come, I think. And
I think what we'll need
fit.
to do is try and get him into the area, don't we? Because he's got that skill. We need to get him into the penalty area, make things happen. Because he's been playing quite far back so far. I think we need to get him close to the strikers.
Close to Cook, yeah.
Yeah, so get him around the strikers.
Yeah, no, I totally with you. And I think at the end of the day, he's rejected the Burundi call up because he wants to work with his fitness. So, I mean, that proves, he's not quite fit yet. And I'm really positive for him.
We are massive, aren't we? Absolutely massive. Neil Warnock didn't want the England job. He wanted to stay at Torquay now. Musa doesn't want to go back to the national team. Brilliant. At the end of the day, I look at it, the weekend, 6 points from 6, 2 very tough games. I think, playing at Dorking first was always, tough. They were going to do a lot of running. So I'm not surprised the performance on Monday was a bit lethargic. But at the end of the day, we've done what we needed to do. Yes, we had a bit of luck. But, we've got the win. And that's a good sign early on that we're fighting to the very end. I almost, called it Gary time, but I don't want to harbour back to those. But at the end of the day, a great turnout from the Yellow Army once again. I mean, the attendances so far this season have been nothing short of magnificent across the board from us. Absolutely magnificent support once again. What, 600, Clive?
Difficult to tell always, but it was 1,500 in total, wasn't it? I can't imagine Chesham have got 1,000 fans, really. So, yeah.
No, I agree. Right.
And from far and wide as well, a lot of people travelled up on the day, but also you've got all our capital goals, as they used to be called, brilliant. Because, truthfully, a lot of people have got other things to do on a bank holiday Monday. And it was great turnout, I thought.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. What a time. What an amazing time. What a football club. Absolutely love it. Right, we're going to what is normally Kelly's corner, but because work commitments, Tom, we don't worry, we won't force you to read. Clive, do you want me to read it? I'll read a question and then you can maybe read the answers or whatever.
Yeah, go on then.
Yellow Army, Clive asked. For Claire's corner on goals I view tonight, we want predictions for Evelyn Chippenham, result scorers, crowds, who plays and who sits by 7:30, please.
What a response, Yellow Army. What a response. I think 5 people replied in about 3/4 of an hour. So thank you to every single one of you. Because let's be honest, we're struggling for content tonight here, boys, aren't we? So Joe Uggs, Big Joe, who I think is still on holiday in Portugal, bless him. He has gone for 2 wins and 2 clean sheets, 2-0 against Aveley, he says. Ash and Cook with the goals. And Sam Dreyer is going to get the winner against Chippenham on Tuesday night. So you read it here first. 3,400 on Saturday and 3,000 on Tuesday night. He wants Musa to start on Tuesday night. I'd agree with that. I think that's a good shout. Get him playing against the rubbish. Come on. Ash and Cook are going to play both games, says Joe. So that's a comprehensive set of positive predictions from him. Alan Wills is next cab off the rank or next bike off the rack, I suppose. And he's gone for 2 wins. No, he hasn't. Oh, no, he hasn't. We're not going to be chipping him. Alan. Cook's going to play a lone hand against Chippenham. We'll draw 1-1. But there's a nice 3-1 victory to look forward to on Saturday against Aveley. Ash, Musa and Seymour are the goal scorers there. Dan from Torquay. Thanks, Dan, for getting in touch. We've got Torquay 2, Aveley 0, Cook and Seymour, 3,300. I think that's a bit skinny. I think we'll get more than that. And he's gone for a 2-1 win on Tuesday night with Cook and Musa to notch. And a bigger crowd, 3,400. Ollie has predicted Saturday. And what he says is that we're going to absolutely gump Aveley 3-0. I think he's a bit optimistic Ollie, saying that Dyer's going to score because I think unfortunately they've said he's going to be out for a few weeks, haven't they? But a 3-0 win and a 3-5-2, so you can't argue with that. He's also named 5 subs for us: Hassani, Dino, Dean Moxie, I suppose, isn't it? Seymour and Collins and Crosby. D Trust, I don't know who you are, mate, but thank you very much for getting in touch. You've gone for a couple of victories, crowds hovering above and below 3,000, 2-0 Saturday, 2-1 Tuesday, and somebody called Matty Hayward. Don't know who he is. It's a 1-0 against Aveley, says Matty. Ash and Moxie to start, replacing Crosby and Carson, and Ash with the winner. So another winning goal for Brad Ash, and then a pretty routine-looking 3-1 victory on Tuesday night. Cook, Musa, Cook, he says. So Cook's in the goals. Torquay are either going to get 4 or 6 points from these next 2 games. You've heard it here first. Should be fine, shouldn't it? I think we'll win them both. There you go.
Yeah, no, I mean, on paper, Aveley, we're reviewing the National League South tomorrow on the All Gone South podcast, first 5 games. But yeah, Aveley obviously have struggled. 1.5 games, they lost 2 players, and after they did so well last season, that second season's always quite hard, isn't it? As they say, the cliche is. But and also again, we talk about the Farnborough away game being significant. Well, this Aveley at home is also significant because that was first game post administration when we were lucky, even though we went 2-0 up, we were lucky to draw it, to be honest with you. So yeah, no, I would say I'm going to predict 4, 6. I'll say 6 points. I'll be hopeful, but we've got to be respectful. These are good, well-run teams, all of them. So yeah, and that Tuesday night one. I mean, if you get 6 points again, probably top of the league by then. So that'd be ridiculous, really. What could go wrong?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. It's almost too good to be true, isn't it?
Yeah, no.
To predict us to keep winning, it's just a bit of an odd feeling, isn't it? So,
yeah, Don, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I should get 6 points. I might be a bit close on Tuesday night. Maybe Saturday we'll win 2-0, and yeah, 2-1 Chippenham sounds like a suitable score, doesn't it?
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, I mean you've got to look at the moment. We 2 home games, both winnable. I think we'll beat Aveley 2-1. I think it'll be quite tight. I'm going to say 1-1. I don't know why, but I've just got a feeling that Chippenham game could be a draw, 1-1.
No, I'm with you on that. I had a bit of a gut, but I'm still going to say 2 Torquay wins. But I did have a bit of a worry. But either
it'll
way,
be 2 Torquay wins, but it'll be a draw. It'll be a draw and a wins.
But it was just, yeah, no, I agree. We've got to be careful of these games. We can enjoy them a bit more now. I think having obviously the good start, it's not like we're going with 4 points in 5 games and we've really got to start, else we're going to lose the feel good factor. We can hopefully enjoy these games now. They're going to be different types of challenges, but we've still got to be careful. There's some very decent teams and plucky teams in this league. So yeah,
enjoy it by being disciplined. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Should be fine. It should be fine, I think.
Yeah.
Let's just keep winning. Give other people a problem. Let them worry about us.
Yeah,
I agree. It's that easy.
Keep grinding, isn't it? I don't think we're going
there's your team talk, Yellow Army.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to thrash teams at the moment.
I'm going to do that as well, am
I? Well, we almost did last season. But yeah, no. So I think that we can wrap that up nicely. Actually, it's such a fantastic, and thank you from a personal point of view. All your comments and messages, personally and publicly, was amazing.
What was the biggest challenge about the commentary?
Oh, okay, and I was a little bit behind the scenes.
Go on, I'll indulge you.
So, the biggest challenge, the only bit I found quite challenging was what you wouldn't realise is when you're at the end of a commentary, so end of half time and second half, when it's going back to the studio. And you think of this when you watch any like Sky Sports News now or tonight, you might be watching it. Like when you're coming to the end of a thing, like so they're going back to the studio, you've got a countdown in your ear. So first of all, you're hearing because I wasn't really ready for it. It was like 30 seconds and then back to studio, and it's like and it threw me off a little bit at the start. And then I think it landed back to me, and I'm like, right, it's like 10, 9. Try and speak now with me going 10, 9, 8 in your ear, and then you're like, right, I've got to get something that's interesting, but also is not too short, but also I won't get cut off. So that's a bit I did find quite difficult, and I have to practice that a little bit. But yeah, no, the whole experience was amazing. I mean, I just loved it as soon as I got into sort of the zone. And obviously, like you get there, and obviously I saw Don Me and everyone there was so welcoming at playing all these days, and the whole day was brilliant. And Paul Mahone, what a bloke, what a guy, what a commentator as well. And honestly, it just kind of just got into it, and it was quite nice and quite. I felt like you can get your things off your chest a bit more during the game, but you can do it in a nice way. I thought that's what I loved about the Sunrise. I could really, my main philosophy was for the ones that won't listen, paint the picture at home, so I could really talk about what is going on in well, Dorking how a bit wasteful in this position, how Torquay are actually looking, and I did really enjoy it. I loved it. It's quite tiring though. At the end of it, you're like by the end, and the goal was brilliant. To sort of have that, and then at the end, I mean, from my view, I was just like, oh, that's goal. I was like looking at the goal like there's a net gunner, rather than just the person that didn't. So, but I loved it. What a day! I'd love to do it again at some point. Obviously, and there's a lot of people that will be involved. So, yeah, thank you to Harry for helping me sort that out as well. And
That's funny. Well done.
cheers. I absolutely loved it, and
Paul's
it's
a
great
good
for
guy,
talking
isn't he?
talk. Yeah,
Paul's a
no,
good guy. He's
keep
starting to engage with us, isn't he, a little bit on Twitter. I
Yeah,
wonder if he
what a
might
bloke.
like to come on here.
We have teased the invite across, so hopefully we can make something work in the
With
near
what commitments
with
I
Paul.
think he's got. But yeah, no, he's brilliant. He was so good, and I felt it's kind of been a commentator, because for me, I have the Sunrise, I had the luxury of being I can paint the picture, but you're constantly going like number 6, number 8, make sure that's the right one, and really got to describe it. So
Difference in radio and TV, I guess.
big
TV, you don't have to
difference,
paint
big
quite as much
difference.
picture, do you? You choose your moments, don't you? Radio, you got to be constantly on the.
It was fascinating. It was fascinating, and
I think the fact he didn't even swear once was fantastic. Because
I was starting to, I
I'd
was
be
getting
useless.
rattled. I was getting rattled near the end. I could maybe for the end of first half, and as soon as the added time came, I felt Torquay got a bit poor in possession, and I was thinking, "Oh, imagine me doing this last season." But no, it was great. I loved it, and obviously the win made it even better. But it's a great moment we scored, because obviously you've got the stadium announcer. It's just like when we scored, it was like me, Don Me, and like the stadium announcer. I know because I was mates with son, so it's like it's a really nice vibe, all of us up there, and obviously the seeing the crowd, and really you could see the whole stadium. Just especially at the end, the roar was amazing. You could see all Bristol's bench and see it from that view. So really special day. I'll cherish the rest of my life. So yeah, no, I loved doing that sort of thing. It was great. BBC didn't really ask to, but it's nice to be this Torquay Talk, and that's Torquay Talk's got play all weekend.
Another proud moment in Torquay Talk history.
History,
Oh,
yes.
what a nice way to finish.
Yeah, we are. We're doing our bit. So yeah. Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. All goes planned for the School Gone South podcast. And then we'll see you after the Chippenham game next week. Thank you for watching.
Here's Hargreaves, the chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays on side, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells!